Everything I spit rare, we sound in that great area podcast. They talk about hip hop all the way in the UK, so they gon' get props. Ooh, let me catch it once again. Every time I'm spitting, I be making people.
Let's go all the way back to, let's say, the mid to late 90s, the sort of origins of this beef. I don't know about you, but I always see the mid 90s in New York as almost like a renaissance period for East Coast hip hop. So obviously you had the golden era of the late 80s, but then as you went into the early 90s, yes, you had the underground and alternative stuff like Tribe and De La and Jungle Brothers and that. But I feel like the West Coast had kind of taken over at that point with Dr. Dre, Snoop, the rest of them. But then from like 93 to 96, especially with Wu-Tang and Nas and Biggie and that, I feel like the East Coast was very much at the top, or at least neck and neck with the West Coast at this point.
It was hardcore and mafioso.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's fair to say that at this point, say like 96, 97, Biggie was the king of New York, right?
Oh yeah, he was the king. There was no doubt about that. 100%.
And like
Definitely the king.
Him, Jay-Z and Nas were kind of like our Kendrick, Cole and Drake, I guess, for like our generation. But, sadly, Biggie passes away in early 97.
I'd like to clarify, Sean, he was murdered. He didn't pass away of natural causes. The motherfucker was murdered, boy. What the hell?
That's true. What
the hell you just say, he passed away? Someone fucking killed him, bro. Make it sound like he had a heart attack, like he did a big pun. What the hell?
Don't bring Big Pun. No. Don't bring Big Pun back into it.
Sorry.
No, Theo, you dissed Big Pun bad before.
Biggie passed away, quote unquote, got murdered.
Yeah. So Biggie died. There we go. And I feel like there was a vacuum at this point. Jay-Z and Nas vying for that vacuum. But it started subliminal though, didn't it? It wasn't like in your face, there was a beef straight away. What are some of like the early standouts around that period of where like you look back at the bars and you go, oh, that was kind of planting the seeds in that? What do you think?
I feel like Nas was taking shots at Jay-Z from Illmatic, really. And his shots were a lot more prominent. Does that make sense?
Do you mean it was written?
Yeah. That's what...
Yeah. I was going to say, Jay weren't really about it during Illmatic,
but I thought it all started though from like Dead Presidents though, didn't it? Because Nas was Jay wanted Nas on that track, and Nas was just like, nah, I ain't going on that track. I ain't going on the video. I ain't doing anything like that. So I think that's when the subliminals definitely started, because I want to say. I think Nas did start it, to be honest with you, on It Was Written. It was almost like he was taking shots for the fact he wasn't on Dead Presidents after Jay dropped Reasonable Doubt, and then they were just going back and forth.
Well, me and Kieran were saying just before we
There's
got
a discrepancy
started that,
with history.
Yeah, we're a bit unclear on like what it exactly was, because some places say that, and me and Kieran, I think we both agreed that this one doesn't seem right, is that Jay wanted Nas to do the hook on Dead Presidents and he declined. But that seems a bit weird, isn't it? Like, what, why would you ask him that? The other story, Kieran, what track was it? Was it Bring It On?
There was also the video cameo for Dead Presidents as well. I've never heard that.
There we go.
That video we saw. But Bring It On. That was one I always thought of. So I don't know if you've ever heard that, but the posse cut on Reasonable Doubt. Apparently Jay wanted Nas on that and Nas declined.
Yeah, so
I've heard that before.
So we don't know exactly what happened, but we know something happened. And then I feel like, did you say The Message, Theo, was like the first?
Well, The Message is a shot to most of them, isn't it? It was a shot to basically Nas. I always felt on The Message that Nas was trying to like stake his claim on the throne, and he was shooting at everybody because he had already heard the likes of obviously Jay coming up, and that saw an opportunity. An opportunity now that Big was gone, they could take his place on the throne. And I feel like The Message was a shot out warning to everybody there that no, this is Nas's crown. Like, you motherfuckers need to just back the fuck up. basically.
Yeah, because he apparently there was a situation with Biggie at one point with Nas and Biggie, right? Am I completely off? I swear, I feel like there was.
No, I think there was. No, I think
they had beef.
Yeah, they did, because Nas even says it on one of his songs. He says like kicking the door was meant for him.
Swear.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Also, Biggie
it says kicking
in
the
a
door
new
was for
song.
him.
In a new song, he said Biggie asked him to do the remix for "Gimme the Loot," but
He did say that.
That was like a new.
That
was a new thing. Yeah.
Because I think it's
Magic, wasn't it?
It was.
He said that. Yeah.
But I think it's key to note that the message did come before Biggie was killed. But it's the line where he says the one where people think it's kind of like taking a little jab at Jay is when he says Lex with TV sets the minimum, ill sex adrenaline. When he says that, because Jay says something about driving in the Lex with the TVs in the back, and I can't remember what song it is on Reasonable Doubt. So it was almost like just a little like, okay, you're at this point, but I'm ahead of you.
Can I live?
Like I'm one step ahead.
Can I live? I think that is.
Can I live? Yeah.
I want.
Oh yeah,
yeah. Could be. I don't know. I could be wrong, but that's the way you said it. It sounds like it could be "Can I Live?"
Or maybe "Can't Knock the Hustle." I don't know. Anyway, but it felt like a little play on that, and I think Nas did address it and said that it wasn't this, but he was thinking of Jay with that line. Yeah,
because he addressed it on Hot 97. Because he said it like it was almost like, he was addressing Jay, but it was never meant as like a diss. It was almost like. It just came that way because Jay was almost like setting a trend with that, and he's trying to obviously be above that. It was never like a shot at Jay, but it definitely was.
It's almost a compliment, though.
Had him
like,
yeah, exactly.
Like,
that's exactly what
Jay's
it was.
setting the standard, and like Nas is just going to go above that. That's really what it is.
But yeah, so it was written, drops a couple of weeks after Reasonable Doubt. About like 6-9 months later, Biggie gets killed, and then there's, in my opinion, this vacuum of like who's going to take the crown.
But I feel like because Jay-Z's friends with Biggie, he's like, it's me, obviously. Do you know what I mean? Like I'm friends with this guy. Obviously, he's died. I'm the next, really, that kind of rightful heir to the throne. Which in hip hop, that's not really there's no like hierarchy of like, oh, this person's next in line. It's more like you have to fight for it type thing. But Jay-Z kind of just assumed this role that it must be mine.
Yeah. Well, on the next album, you've got Where I'm From, where he has the famous line, "Who's the best MCs? Biggie, Jay-Z, and Nas." But then there's the track "The City Is Mine," which, oh my god, has not aged well. That is not a good song.
The thing is with that album, though, Jay kind of took Biggie's sound on that album. I think he's got a lot of Puff Daddy production on it as well. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think so, though, just from memory. And
it was kind of the start of that era, wasn't it? The bling bling.
Yeah, but he didn't really do that on Reasonable Doubt while Biggie was alive. But after Biggie's gone, he's kind of like jumping on the sound. And he's capable of it, though. I don't actually think Nas is capable of jumping on that sound, but Jay is, and it makes sense for him to be like,
I love the dough.
Next Biggie.
I love the dough as an example of that. Still sounds good today. So there's this whole sort of, like you said, Sam, it's like he kind of just assumed the throne after Biggie, and then Nas is still knocking about, and we get tracks like "We Will Survive" off the next album. But the thing that I wasn't really aware of until years and years later, in like recent years, is that there was an issue with like the mother of Nas's son or something like that.
This is where it gets so ridiculous.
This is where it gets mad, though, because I heard rumors of this, but then when it was clarified, because she actually said it on an interview, I didn't realize that, because you obviously will touch on Takeover and stuff like that. But when he mentioned that, like, you did what with you know who, I always thought that was just like a rumor. He was just saying it. No, that stuff legit happened. Like she was pregnant with Jay's kid as well, and she had a miscarriage.
Oh,
yeah,
man.
see, but
Jay-Z
I know this is like an early kind of spoiler, but to me that means Jay-Z won the beef because he did a mad thing. You know what I mean? If you do a mad thing, you win the beef. Doesn't matter if you actually lost the beef in the grand scheme of whatever conclusion you might come to. Yeah. But I guess I'm gonna drop the line.
There's
so
some
early.
lines in it. There's certain lines.
Though, man. When you start like dealing with like man's baby mums, man, that's just touching a light. That's just
I think
this isn't public though. This isn't public at this point.
No,
right?
it's not. It's not. At all.
No, exactly. And I think that I reckon
That's what makes it
kind of
sting
stick
even
with the
more,
music
though.
will kind of cross over it and just let the listeners do their research into what happened around that time. But there was an issue with the mother of Nas's son.
Nas's firstborn, right?
No, Nas's
I think it's the daughter.
Yeah.
The daughter.
Yeah, it's his daughter.
Yeah. But the listeners can go and look up that. But basically, from again, sort of like further down the line from interviews and whatnot, it's come out that Memphis Bleek apparently kind of instigated things, got things rolled up. Nas had a famous track, as we all know. Nas is like Memphis Bleek drops something like, was it Memphis Bleek is or something like that, which was kind Memphis of like a play on it.
Play on that.
And then Hove had a feature on What You Think of That as well, where he was kind of dropping little subliminals as well. Nas comes back on the next album, Nostradamus, and says some stuff too. So it's becoming a bit more frequent now. Like, and it's although it's subliminals, it's kind of obvious that they are addressing one another.
This bit reminds you of what we saw with Kendrick and Cole around that Control time. Kendrick and Drake around that Control time. You know, those subliminals in every project, so clearly about each other.
Yeah, but I feel like Nas isn't really being subliminal. I think he's just being smart. You know what I mean? Rather than doing like what Jay-Z did, where he said, you know, who's the best MC, Biggie, Jay-Z, and Nas. Nas is like, you guys are listening to hear if I'm saying anything, or people have got their ears listening to my music to hear if I'm saying anything about you. Here I am saying something definitely about you.
This is the thing, though. Like, it runs throughout the beef as well. We'll get into it, but like Nas is the one always chasing the beef and instigating the beef and starting and like pushing it as well. And obviously, we mentioned the baby mama, and like I think it's linked to that in it.
Yeah.
So you're going to be bitter about something like that, aren't you?
Oh, 100% you're going to be
like,
bitter.
Not even
There's
just
no
it's not even
way
just bitter though. Like,
it's a disrespect. It's one of the highest levels of disrespect that you can do to somebody.
This is the thing. Like, we're about to get to. It's when Jay-Z done that feature on "Is That Your Chick?" Because that is that is actually when Jay-Z starts getting a bit vile. This is when I think this is one of the first. This is where he starts mentioning Carmen. And
but it is vile. You're right about that. Could you just remember? Because I was listening to that today. Some of the stuff he says
disgusting stuff in that. So I always thought that was one of his most vile songs.
It's like when it. No, it is. It's awful. It's actually plain right disgusting.
I can't even quote it. You know what I mean? Like, just read the lyrics.
It was something about like the condom and making sure it was on tight because I'm
busting a nut. All of this, exactly. Man. Like dicking a slut. How even knows?
The lyrics are mad.
Oh man, it's vile.
Yeah, it's awful.
I'm trying to find. There were some bars a little bit earlier on. Because Kieran, you made a good point. It always felt like Nas was kind of up in the ante and just kind of instigating it a little bit more. He had lines on "We Will Survive" that was basically, it was something to do with, I think, like big passing, you know, big going, and Jay kind of taking the rhymes, but without saying it that explicit, because I'll find it at some point. But it's kind of like the turn of the century when, you know, as we enter the 2000s, where things start to heat up, like you say, with "Is That Your Chick?" But Nas did a freestyle as well over "Eye for an Eye," you know, the Mobb Deep track.
Yeah,
and he says something like, he says something like, "Copy and fuck your false crown covered in dirt." I mean, at that point, it's like, it's so obvious who he's talking about, because there was always this thing that Jay-Z would use Biggie's bars. So when he said that, you kind of know at that point that there's an issue with all the Memphis Bleek stuff as well. By sort of 2000, 2001, it's on at this point, you know. And then also there was a track called "The Bridge" 2001, where he kind of sent for the whole of Rockefeller, but again, without like singling anyone out. I think it was more Memphis Bleek at this point, but obviously that's Jay's man, isn't it? It's almost like Jay-Z sent Memphis Bleek in to sort of...
No, but this is what I was about to touch on, because it's true, because it was like, that's exactly what it feels like, though. It almost feels like Jay was like, right, let me test out how like good Nas really is, or whether I can sort of like, I don't know, battle him in a way, and he's like sent Memphis Bleek in to test the waters and like check him out. And then when he finds out what Nas is really on, then I feel I can take this dude. So then he dips his like toes into the water, but he's definitely it felt like he sent Memphis out just to test the waters.
I think
the climate was weird though. I feel like the climate was so strange because Nas was obviously in a downhill patch. Like he had "I Am," which was still good, but not as great as the first two. He had "Nostradamus," which is kind of it's not. I don't want to say trash, but yeah. And then like even that Queensbridge compilation is just like it's a whole mess in itself, innit? Like Uchiwali's a banger, but it's a mess as well.
But touching on that, do you feel
winning.
that? Yeah, but do you feel that downhill spiral was because of what was happening with Nas?
I actually do. No, I don't think it's just the mum thing. I think it's like combine the two in it. Like your mum's dying at this moment. Like she's got cancer and it's terminal, and the whole of like this whole gang is coming at you. Like Nas doesn't really have a gang at this point. I feel like I don't know where this Queensbridge gang actually came from, but Jay-Z definitely had the Rockefeller first.
Yeah,
it's a lot to do.
And they did and this is where Jay's just slick. Like they had the Rockefeller Takeover on Hot 97, where they just rapped over Queensbridge beats or Queens artist beats, and it's just like toying with him at this point, isn't it? He knows like he's under Nas's skin. Nas is sending these subliminals, and it's like, let's take over this radio station and just rap over Queens artist beats and just rub it in a little bit more, just kind of winding him up, basically getting him to sort of up the ante again, I guess. But apparently they ran into each other at a party. Jay-Z and Nas around this time.
Yeah, I saw that in the video that you sent, and what he said was, I went up to... No, before that, I think he said he tried to call him or something. He paged him. And was
Paging or something.
Yeah, he paged him. He said, call me. And then he called him. He wasn't there. Then he called him and he spoke. He's like, what's going on? He's like, nothing. We're cool. Then he ran into him at a party and did the same thing. Like, are we cool? Which is like an odd kind of move to make, because in my eyes, if you have beef with someone, like, I don't know if on-site and someone existed back then, but it didn't seem like Nas was on this on-site thing that he was later saying that he was on, because he, you know what I mean? He was just like, come up to him like, are we okay? And Jay-Z's like, yeah. Obviously, Jay-Z's going to say, yeah, he doesn't care, because he's got that, he's got pocket aces right now. He's fucked your missus.
These people don't want to die though, like Tupac and Biggie. Yeah. So
that's one thing.
If you see someone, you will want to squash it. You'll want to squash the beef straight away as soon as you see them.
This is what I'm thinking. Maybe they're in this like weird space where they're like, oh yeah, we're beefing, but like I want to know that it's not that type of beef where we end up losing more people out the scene.
It's like grand beefs, isn't it?
Nah, grand beefs.
I also think that Jay always saw this as a marketing thing. I think he knew that this would sell. So I think from Jay's side, it was never, up until this point, it wasn't that deep. But Nas, obviously, with the whole thing with the baby mother and what was going on with his mum and this and that, he's clearly not in the best of spaces. So it is personal to him. Whereas with Jay-Z, it's like, I don't think it wasn't that deep to him. I think he saw the money that could be made from it. So when they saw each other in person, it was easy for him to just kind of palm it off. But it was Summer Jam, wasn't it? That's what kind of triggered it.
Oh, yeah.
It was Summer Jam. Have you ever seen any of that stuff before? It's legendary, man.
When he brought Michael Jackson.
There's not much out there. Yeah, he brought Michael Jackson. There's that interview after where he's just like staring into the camera, like on one. Jay-Z is mad. Like, he just at this point he's like at the peak of his powers. And he just can't be touched. But he drops bars from what would become Takeover. I think he had the picture of Prodigy as a kid. Like,
just
in dance ballerina outfit or something like that.
Man.
It's so
bad.
And I think he dropped the first verse from Takeover, and then I think, is it at the end of that verse he says, "Ask Nas, he don't want it with Hove." No,
yeah, because that's how the second verse finishes. Because he finishes off like dissing.
Second verse, yeah.
But finishes off dissing Prodigy on Mod Deep, and it's the last line on that. It's like, you don't want it with Hove, like, and then it mentions Nas's name on it. But then obviously that last verse, which is about Nas, comes out when the blueprint comes out. It doesn't come out on Summer Jam.
So at this point, a name is mentioned. He's proper sent for other Queens artists. And then Nas hops on Hot 97 and drops that H to the Omo freestyle, which hasn't aged quite so well, but it was, again, like, it was very much on at this point. And kind of was the setting that we had the setting ready for the two classic tracks, basically.
So where are we at now with the beef? The disses have been dropped. Nas is there talking about H to the homo, but what does that spark? You know what I mean? Like, where does it go from there?
Well, it's the main event, isn't it? We've never really all spoken about this before either together, really, which is Takeover versus Ether. Let's break it all down. Yeah. Let's break it down, because I feel like
I'll listen to them back to back.
I was about to say I would actually listen to them right now.
Yeah, no, we have to listen to them back to back. I was going to say that because my opinion on which diss song is better is fluctuated and changed. Like it was Ether right at the beginning, then I feel like I became more wise and more knowledgeable with like hip hop and understanding lyrics better and everything. Then leaned over to Takeover, but recently, Ether, I don't, because
it's that last verse. It's
man,
crazy.
Because some of the stuff that he says on Ether actually happens. It happens at the time. Yes, you could understand that. Oh, it's not all facts, but the last bits were facts at the end. That it actually happened. So
yeah. You've kind of said how I feel, Theo. When I first, came across both tracks and was like in my formative years of, getting into hip hop and that, Ether was the one. It had the shock value, and then as you get older and you start understanding music and the culture and you grow up a little bit, you realize that Takeover is, one, a better song, and two, I guess a lot of people found more truth in it. Like he was addressing things that you could say were factual. But now I'm like you, I feel like it's neck and neck. It's close. Definitely. I mean, it's close. It's close. Yeah.
Which one came out first?
Takeover
came out first.
So. Okay, cool. You know what? To be honest, I've always liked Takeover, but that's because it was in my rotation of listening. I'm literally a new quote unquote Nas fan because I'm really not a Nas fan. And in the build up to this, obviously, I had to listen to a little bit of Nas, but there's albums that I skipped and a whole bunch of shit that I skipped because I'm like, I don't need to hear this because it's not going to change my view on the battle. Like, I know what happened, but at the same time, I don't know.
You can tell why in the moment that Ether made the waves it did, though.
Oh,
like you hear stories of like people. You would just be in New York and you just hear it blaring out of people's
It's
cars.
the story of Adidon, isn't it? It's the story of Adidon at that time.
Yeah.
Even
and
worse, to be honest.
I agree.
It is.
If you take away the homophobic bars, because some of it's not aged well at all, but if you
so bad,
take out those,
it's like, haha, you're gay. Like it's like,
that's the thing.
Like,
back in the day, that used to be a good insult. Haha, you're gay.
It's so trash now.
It used to really destroy, man.
It
nowadays,
really
no one cares. Like
no one cares.
Even when I was listening to it, so this is why I always thought I preferred Takeover more than Ether. I was like, Ether's just like schoolboy playground type humor that some people.
It's not just that though.
Yeah,
if you look through it, it's not just that actually.
No, but I'm saying on a level as a child, listening to basically a child, early teenager child. I was like, this is just dumb schoolboy insults. There's no like actual like cutting words. It's like, ha, you're gay. Don't talk to me. Ha, I'm the better rapper. And it's like, all right, cool. But I think it's also the fact that Jay-Z's is just way longer. Like it's four verses and he's addressing two people very directly.
I think that's one problem as well because Nas does a whole song, three verses for Jay, and the chorus as well. Whereas Jay-Z does 2 verses for Nas. The chorus isn't even about Nas; it's just celebrating his crew. Jay was just doing the thing that Jay's doing in a speech the whole time until Super Ugly, innit? But
Super Ugly.
I was going to say, this was these 2 tracks were reflective of the beef up until this point. You know what I mean? Jay kind of is slick with it, teases, obviously direct this time, and then Nas just ups the ante.
I said this in the group though. This was my problem because I don't understand why people compare these two. I know they're the best diss tracks of the whole beef, but I feel like Jay-Z did on Super Ugly what Nas did on Ether. So I felt like they should be compared rather than Takeover doesn't compare to Ether in a way like
you're right though, because Jay even touches on that. Jay says Super Ugly comes from the fact that Nas took it to a whole new level of disrespect. Exactly. So like, Jay wanted to match and go above that and said, well, if Ether is that disrespectful, I'm going to up that and get even more disrespectful.
Like I feel like this comparison's rigged in itself because it's like you listen to both back to back and like Nas went in more than Jay-Z, but it's like Jay wasn't trying to go in like Nas until Nas did that.
Well, it's the first. This is the problem. If in a fight, if I say, look, or not even a fight, if we're like, blow for blow, and I'm be like, look, we can punch each other. I'm gonna punch you, and then you can punch me back. The person who gets the punch back knows how hard that they've been hit, so they're gonna hit you, twice as hard, if not 3 times as hard. Exactly. And it's like if you can come back from that, it's gonna be a nice blow back. But it's like it's already too late. You've been, completely demolished.
Jay dropped 2 dead diss tracks that we can't even find online because they're so bad. Apparently.
But this is why
he's a billionaire, man. He's erased it from the internet.
This is why
rich man money.
But this is why I think that we do still need to compare Takeover and Ether, because don't get me wrong, Takeover was and still is the better song. And like we said, Ether has some bars that have not aged well. And like you say, Sam, some of it is like school playground sort of type cussing, basically. But at the same time, there is some real sort of serious stuff in there. The way he's rapping as well, like the technical ability is on a higher level.
Wait, which one? Which one are you talking about?
Nas.
What do you mean?
Nas on
okay, cool.
Ether, yeah.
I find Takeover technical too. That
Takeover's technical. Takeover's technical, but like some of the pockets that Nas is finding on Ether's crazy. But
especially for Nas as well. I hadn't heard him hit pockets like that before.
But also, Ether is a good song as well. I think it's a great beat. I think
that's what I was going to say. I prefer the beat to Ether more than Takeover.
Oh, really?
Oh,
wow, do you?
I prefer Takeover, but
that's one of Kanye's best.
Yeah. And I think the reason, again, that to sort of keep comparing those two is that as far as we all know, and what like people have said throughout sort of history in that, is that Ether really flustered Jay and Rockefeller, like proper flustered them. Apparently, like there was some like crisis meeting where they were like, we gotta get this guy. He's like.
Well, there's a worse story where apparently the day it dropped, Jay-Z walked into a club. Like I don't know whose club it was, but like the song pressed play as soon as he walked in. And like I was like his entrance music.
Jay-Z, isn't it?
Yeah,
like walk into the club and you hear Jay-Z. That is mad.
Well, especially think about it. Back in them days, he might not have even heard that yet. Do you know what I mean? Or maybe someone had called him and been like, "Oh, Nas has dropped this track. Like, you better listen to it." He's like, "I'll listen to it tomorrow. I'm gonna go out to the club, have a good time." Then you hear it in the club. You got all your good clothes on. You're ready to spend some money. Your vibe's gone, man.
So that's why I say, like, in the moment, Nas won the battle, because what Jay did after that with Super Ugly and the other freestyles and that was out of character. It was poor taste. It just. Jay, people associate class and slickness, but it was a mess.
Yeah, but if you're gonna fight somebody,
Super Ugly is not as bad though. Super Ugly is not as bad as Ether. I feel like it's on the level.
If you're beefing somebody, you have to make sure they're buried. You know what I mean? Like it's like if a hitman comes to kill you, it's fucking one in the head and two in the chest. He doesn't just shoot you once and be like, he'll die from that. You've got to make sure that what you're doing is done.
I think it was with Super Ugly. It was 100% reactionary. Again, because it was kind of out of character. And whilst there may be less sort of shots in there on the sort of level of the homophobic stuff on Ether, what he said in that short space of time about the what he did in the back of the car with the
madness.
Was just foul. Was just so foul.
Yeah, it's a madness.
Yeah,
you can't start like bringing. Like,
I think that's the first time he brings it up, innit? He hadn't even brought it up before that, so
no.
Yeah,
so, talking about how like your daughter's sitting on that seat and it's just mad. You can't start bringing someone else's like kid
condoms in
involved.
the baby chair.
It's madness.
Rough. It's rough. But then to top it all off as well, like shortly after he apologizes,
I saw Sam smirking.
I want to say it. Kieran said I should say it on the recording. Yeah, what is these man's obsession with having sex with other people's women, man? Because to me, I don't get it. I really don't understand. Like, I had sex with your woman. It's like, okay, you tasted my dick now. Like, what's going on there? Like,
that's how Nas starts. No, that's he says you've been on my dick.
This is what I'm saying.
I realize now, knowing that, that's what it means.
Yeah, but it's just a mad weird thing
shit
that people are obsessed.
That's what it means. It's crazy. It's an entendre, isn't it?
It's like, I had sex with your girl. Okay, what's that got to do with me? Go chat to her. She's the one that you wanted to. But I've won against you. No, you haven't, man. You just tasted my dick now.
Yeah, it's all a bit strange. But for Jay to then follow up with an apology live on there and how his mum got involved and said she didn't like what she was hearing. I mean, fair play. I respect that he did that. And Nas did that as well. But at the same time, I think if you think about the climate and what the culture was like at the time and everything like that, in the moment, Nas won. But I don't think there's any question.
The culture was kind of ignorant, though.
Yeah, but
that's what I was implying.
The whole thing you've been ethered, though, hasn't it? So like, when everyone heard ether, like every diss track now, like you always say, that person's been ethered. It's like a thing. Like everyone always says it. So it created a massive.
You know what? The thing is, though, it is like that third verse. I think it's like halfway through. Like every single bar is a new diss about Jay-Z, and like every single one hits him. It's sort of like the Foxy Brown line, the Eminem line, like
mad.
there's so many lines that like, okay, Jay-Z can't come back from this because he's just ended, like he's exposed to everything. He hasn't even mentioned the common kind of thing, but
well, I think that's the best way to win at a beef. Is just to say as much mad things as you can. If you got loads, then go off. But if you've only got a few, you need to just find new ways to keep remixing it and saying it, and the other person's just going to be bamboozled because their head's going to be like, I can't. You know what I mean? I can't.
Jay-Z was bamboozled, wasn't he?
Absolutely bamboozled.
And also, you know the way we rate back to back, Drake's back to back, and how it was like a club anthem. And
yeah.
Could you imagine being in that club when Ether dropped and hearing that fuck Jay-Z thing?
That'd be mad. That'd be mad.
Yeah,
absolutely wild.
Imagine being in the club when Jay-Z walked in and that started playing.
Yeah, Jesus, man,
awkward.
Just want to dance, but you can't.
Yeah, but so I don't know if you all agree with me. I think Nas won the battle at this point. I think.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, Nas won.
But he did a lot of low blows in it, but he still won. Despite that,
yeah.
I don't think it's a question. I don't think it's a question of like he won the battle because it's obvious. It's very, very obvious if you just listen to both tracks like we did back to back. But it's like I said, because he came out after that track, he's obviously going to win if he's got any half of a brain around him because it's just one chance to like first of all have his voice heard and second of all just end it quickly, which he did.
But it all kind of fizzled out after this point, didn't it? It wasn't like Jadakiss and Beanie Sigel where there were quite a lot of back and forths, or like 50 and Ja Rule where it's kind of just persisted over time. This one just fizzled out, I guess, for a few reasons. I mean, we touched upon Nas's mum and her health issues. She passes away in 2002, as far as I'm aware. Obviously, you're going to kind of track back after that and maybe take a little bit of time away and whatnot. Jay-Z is collaborating with.
We missed one important thing though.
They do
Summer Jam
subliminals though.
There's the dub. We're missing the key bit. Basically, you know how Jay-Z did the Summer Jam, then the Takeover thing happens, and then the mum thing happens. So there's like, let's squash the beef. But then I don't know. I think Nas is on cocaine at this point or something because he started going crazy. Like he was going on like radio shows and just saying the most. He was saying crazy stuff, and he was like, "And I'm here. Why am I saying this? Because I can." Like I'm just like, what is on? Like Nas is definitely having coke at this point. Straight
is this
up.
when he was like when he was like saying, "Oh, Cameron, like I like the single, but the album's trash."
It was getting weird.
And
honestly, he was sounding like Kanye nowadays. It's like,
are we going to take into account of what we just said? So we said his mum died, so it's like maybe he was having a bit of a mental breakdown, and in that mental breakdown,
and he was really annoyed at Hot 97 though because he was meant to headline Summer Jam, but he wanted to have the prop about like Jay-Z being lynched, and they wouldn't have that. Well, and then he was like,
"That's a bit." He was saying he was trying to elevate hip hop, or something. He was saying like, "I'm trying to elevate hip hop." Like, what kind of excuse is that?
That's a mad thing to do to have anybody lynched on stage. I know.
I think obviously your mum passing away is going to have a huge impact, but I think it's more the Summer Jam thing in terms of the shots fired to. I mean, he was angry with Hot 97, Angie Martinez, like we said, he was dissing Cameron and Nori, and he was just sort of sending for everyone. I think getting pulled, what I think it said to him in his sort of state at that point was, "You guys, you're on Jay-Z's team. Do you know what I mean? You let him headline. He did what he did. I wanted to do my thing. You've pulled me. I see now that there's a line drawn in the sand. You know, there's Jay-Z and Hot 97. There's me and Power 105. Do you get what I mean? So, and then at the same time, Jay-Z is laying low.
Do you think Jay-Z might have had some kind of hand in that, like being able to make sure that he didn't do Summer Jam?
I feel like it.
Yeah, I reckon he had a relationship with. I mean, we saw like there was the Rockefeller takeover and stuff. I reckon he had a really good relationship with like Funk Flex and.
Yeah,
Angie
Martinez. Do you feel like they might have called him and been like, "Yo, we're gonna let Nas perform, but he wants to do something," and he's like, "Nah." You know what I mean? Cancel that, please. You know what I mean?
Also, I think Jay at this point, after the whole, like I said, the apology and the way that was probably perceived by people, he was probably taking a bit of a step back. He was also collabing with a certain singer.
God, that was mad.
Yeah, and
Nas called him out for that. Yeah, Nas called him out big time for that.
We won't.
This is interesting though. Like the beef became more like outside of the music, and it was more about like the business stuff and all of that.
Yeah,
right? Like on interviews, they were talking about each other still. I guess because people are triggering them to answer questions, but
Mm.
the way
There
it
was
fizzled
still
out was
some-
strange.
But
There
then
were
Nas
still
still
subliminals.
instigated it though on Godson. That's what I was saying. He did subliminals on Godson. He was still instigating some of this beat. Like I was listening to it today. He's still like talking about Jay on that. He's like saying that like he said even when he was looking after his mum and Jay sneak dissed him. Sneaked in and tried to take the throne, and you only took the throne because my mind wasn't on the game. And I can't remember what song that is, but it's.
I do feel like that's not really a diss though. It's more reflective, isn't it?
It's reflective, but there was other subliminals. I can't.
Oh, do you know what though?
Other
At this time,
subliminals
there's a
on that
few
as
other
well.
ones that nobody remembers because when we were watching that video, like that Sean sent us, they were crap. Like I don't know what kind of bars they were rapping, but like there's some really crap was that especially Nas was doing. Like I don't. They were both clutching at straws to try and like keep a beef going that they weren't invested in anymore. I don't really know what was going on.
Maybe it
with
just
that.
became part of their mindset when they were writing that, like, oh, I have to send shots at this
The
man.
bars
right now.
are crap. Like they sound like high school raps. You know, like when you were like 13 and you'd do like a clash with someone in the playground. It literally sounds like that. Like, Jay, you can't rap anymore. Like this kind of stuff. Like,
Yeah, there's some slick stuff though. But I know you're Theo. When you said about Godson, I feel like Nas actually explicitly addressed the situation as well in like a storytelling way. On what's the track? Last Man Alive. I'm sure he actually tells the story, and then Jay-Z,
he tells the whole story. Yeah.
And then on Blueprint 2 on the title track, Jay has that bar. What is it? Your man Jungle is a garden to me, or something like that. Which to me is just so like I love that. It's just so slick. But yeah, for the most part, there's a feature. I think Nas. What's the song called? There was a group or a duo or something called Bravehearts at that time, and Nas had a feature on there, and it's just the song was not good. There was a bit of back and forth. Nas was on one, and then again it kind of with the release of Godson, and that seemed to fizzle out. And Jay-Z was gearing up for retirement at this point. You know, he's working on the Fade to Black tour, the Black album. He's kind of he's hanging up his gloves. So I think Jay wasn't really interested at this point. You know, he was career-wise, he was still doing well. He was, he hadn't lost really. He's still doing really good numbers, at least compared to Nas, who wasn't doing bad either. But Jay had.
Jay-Z was making his best albums ever, whereas Nas was kind of fizzling out again.
You reckon?
I think so. Like,
I don't know.
Look at how it goes from Stillmatic, Lost Tapes, Godson, Streets Disciple. That's like a downhill journey. Whereas Jay-Z's
That's the problem.
uphill.
When it's still high level rap, like your journey down might be someone's highest peak. Do you see what I'm trying to say?
Do you mean commercially, Kieran?
I'll talk about my own personal opinion. I don't really care how it did commercially. I don't care how it did critically. That's the way I see it now in hindsight. I feel like those albums step downs.
Because I think that we'll get to it towards the end, I guess, but there's like 3 errors for me that stand out with Nas as like his best errors. And one of those I would consider to be sort of between Stillmatic to Godson, maybe even Streets Disciple if you want to push it.
No, it's an error.
I thought this, yeah.
Okay, wait. My point I'm making is that it's still a downward trajectory, though. Like it's not a plateau. It's not like every album's getting better. Like literally every album is taking a step down from itself.
Right.
Like,
okay.
And this is why I was processing it as well.
Okay.
Because I'm kind of with you on that, because it's not like it doesn't plateau. It is actually, it doesn't matter. It's not like you're saying it took a steep downhill curve, but it still was going down. He was maintaining that level.
Gradually fizzling, innit?
Yeah, he wasn't maintaining the level, whereas Jay was going up. That's the thing.
They made Black Album.
Yeah, exactly. That's just madness.
There is some, no, you're right. I get you are right. There was a kind of gradual decline in more ways than one, I guess. And Jay-Z had this last hurrah with the Black Album and, the Blueprint only a couple years before that. But there is something interesting though, as we get to it, like, the beef is fizzling out and they kind of begin to squash things. The interesting thing is that Jay-Z, obviously he retires, quote unquote, and also becomes the president of Def Jam, and then Nas signs to Def Jam, and then has like a couple of #1 albums after that. So
it's cute.
I feel like, I'll let you all share what you think, but for me, I think there's 2 main reasons why the beef kind of got squashed. One is time. Time's a great healer. I think they both sort of matured and grew to realize that it's not that deep and, we can get past this. But also there was money to be made. And I think with Nas coming to the end of his Columbia deal, an opportunity to sign for Def Jam, Jay-Z's the president of Def Jam, looking for new artists and things like that. There's an opportunity there to...
It coincided with Jay-Z doing I Declare War, that comeback tour.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's like, it's such a marketing campaign, because it's like, you think he's going to diss someone by saying that, but it's like actually the end of war.
Exactly, yeah. Everyone was expecting him to just send for, Nas, everyone, whatever.
I think the thing is, like, we always forget Jay-Z's actually older than Nas, even though his career's younger. And I feel like it was like the acknowledgement moment where it's like, even though Nas is more experienced in the music industry, Jay-Z is like this older in a way, and he's like, let me just take you under my wing now and help you out, because I've had the success commercially that you could have too.
Yeah. And also, like, I mean, Nas, from what I understand, grew up in one of the most sort of notorious projects in America, let alone New York, and was a street guy in that sense. But Jay-Z was really out there earning serious money, wasn't he? He was a hustler. Whereas I think Nas was in that environment, but was not that. So Jay-Z he came into the game with
essentially.
Yeah. Whereas what I mean is Jay-Z came into the game with this kind of business mind and sort of understanding the consequences 100%. Of doing certain things. By this point, he's just, like you say, kind of able to take Nas under his wing in that sense. But by this point, they're good. They're good after a couple years of just kind of letting it lie. It's all kind of fizzled out. Should we? We've got 7 minutes in it. We can just So do you want to stay on, or should we just restart?
The fuck out of that.
I'm joking. I was hoping to catch your sentence at the right time. It's like, should we just edit the fuck out of that? But I didn't get it right.
I think we kind of covered the how did it impact their careers between 02 to 05.
They weren't really doing anything. They did. Do you know what I mean? They were just doing what Kieran said, having a bit of like silly back and forth, and then Jay-Z's winding down to retire.
So the beef has fizzled out at this point. Nas and Jay are on good terms. They even start collaborating. Does anyone have a favourite Jay-Z and Nas collaboration?
The most recent one, whatever the fuck that's called. I don't listen to it.
Mine's Bar Salts. Yeah. Mine is Bar Salts. Flipping love that song.
Whoa.
That song that they go in, man. Jeez.
I think mine's Success.
Mine's
Success. I do like Success, but nah.
What do you think of that beat on Bath Salts though?
Crazy. It's like dystopian. It's dystopian. I love it. It's a very bleak. It's not meant to be liked, isn't it? It's meant to be scary,
abrasive, and that. I'm like you. I love Success. They're just flossing.
I don't know, man. The verses are just that's like a dream collab. I like that. Would have been sick as well, actually.
Oh yeah. I was listening to that.
That intro is like 1 minute and a half, because it's like you play the song thinking, we're finally gonna hear them, and it's like they're not gonna give it to you like that.
But they just gas it though. It's like the way how Jay says, 4 bars, and then you just go in, and then we just start dancing, and it's like. But then we just go in, and then it just starts going off. But like you said, it's a minute and a half later. This is the madness.
What about Sorry Not Sorry as well?
Sam said that one. Yeah, that's a good.
I prefer Bath Salts, man.
I don't like the bars on that really that much though.
Yeah, the bars on that are just they're not for me.
What about BBC as well?
2Bs and 3Bs and all that stuff.
What about BBC?
BBC.
Billionaire Boys Club. That's on Magna Carta.
Oh,
Pharrell produced it with Timbaland.
Nas is on that. Are you sure about that?
Yeah. I always like that one.
I didn't listen to that song that well.
Nas is flossing on that.
Did they do like a video for that, or an advert, or like some sort of promotion with
something? Or something.
Yeah. Don't know why I can't remember that song as well, but yeah, Success for me. So at this point, and it's been on our little run through that we have, I was going to ask you all who won the war, but I feel like because of where they're at in their careers now and how everything's transpired, I don't really want to pit them against each other and do that. I mean, we can say that at the end if you want, but I mean, I guess the question I have more, which I think is more fitting, is who would win in a versus?
Ooh,
Jay-Z would. But that's only because people know Jay-Z's music more than Nas's.
Well,
That's
it depends,
a very good point.
It depends what
That's
the
a very good
versus
point.
like genre is. Like, are we playing bangers? Are we playing like lyrical tracks? Because Nas would definitely win if it was like a bar for bar.
Versus is about playing bangers, like, and Nas doesn't have any club bang. There's no song that you could slap on in a rave that people.
Yeah, Jay-Z would win that then.
Yeah, Jay-Z would win that all day long because there's just he's got numerous bangers.
In the 2010s, Jay-Z just went crazy with commercial bangers. There's too many now.
I'm with you though, Kieran, because I think it depends on your audience, right? And as we know with our own battles, you can, if you know your audience and you pick the right songs at the right times, you can get a win, even for an underdog. I agree. I think that Jay-Z would win because a versus is a certain type of, like you say, it's the kind of the hits and the bangers that go off on those. But I don't know, in certain settings, man, when you go over some of Nas's stuff, like Made You Look, Nas is like, there's some real classic tracks in there. I think if someone were to pick really well and just,
Jay-Z though, with the beat selection, like it will always influence a person to pick him. Because Nas is like, Nas's best stuff is when like he does some lyrical flow that catches you like instantly. It's like, yeah, okay, this is Nas's run. But with Jay, it's kind of like if you hear just like Paris or something, like just the way those beats just start, you already know, like, I'm clearly just going to give it to Jay-Z for this round because I know he rides this one.
And I guess for a versus, I mean, I've never seen Nas live, but I hear he is a good performer. But Jay-Z has just got this different charisma.
I've seen both of them live. Nas was interesting live. He was good. I think like the raps in Illmatic were too quick for him to still do at that time. But Jay-Z, on the other hand, I guess he was a bit younger, but Jay-Z, when he did Watch the Throne and he was just rapping like Jigger What, Jigger Who, like that was just unbelievable.
Yeah, I remember that from Watch the Throne.
He did not miss a bar. Like he stood completely still, but
that's his thing, isn't it?
Nas wasn't like that. Nas was like a J. Cole type performer, but with less energy.
Okay.
I mean, he is in his 40s. Yeah, bless him. So
yeah.
Let the man live.
So, I guess then official verses, Jay's got it.
Hey, it's your boy Theo, and thanks for listening to the Grey Area Podcast. Now, go over and check the Discord. We got loads of different playlists for you guys to check out. And most importantly of all, we want to hear from our community. So go over and check it out. You might get a free seasoning pack. Peace.